You're listening to 5 Minutes of English with Laura Pickens, a short podcast about the way we actually talk, like for real. Numbers are hard. Hi, my name's Laura. I'm an American living in Russia, and I am a speech coach. I help people speak English better. This goes beyond grammar or vocabulary. It's down to the actual practice, having a real conversation and mastering the skills so that your personality, your humor, your interest, your opinions come through in your foreign language of English. Today, we're going to be talking about a phenomenon I have witnessed with every level of client I've ever had, which is substantial. I have over 10,000 hours of private one-on-one sessions with my clients. And something that is true, no matter my client's level of English, no matter their comfortability, how long they've lived in a country, no matter how long they've been speaking English, and also in my own experience of living in Russia, numbers are hard. I want to give you an example of one of these breakdowns and what they look like. So say, for example, I want to say the number 15,200, 15200. So in the middle of a very fluid conversation, we come to this number. We say, I was looking at the price of the object and it was, and then here's where the breakdown. This number I have heard said as 105,020, 1,500, 150,020. I have heard multiple combinations that become wilder and wilder, but they all have this same commonality. The numbers themselves are in the correct order, 1, 5, and 2. It's the 100 and 1,000 that comes after it that gets confusing. It's understanding the place of these numbers. Now, what is interesting is that the construction of Russian language and English language is exactly the same. The way that we pronounce numbers, the way that we formulate them, it's not like German where we reverse the order of the last digit. And we do say 100. We do make differences in Russian where the way that we say 100 depends on whether it's 1, 2 to 4, 5 or higher. But speaking as an experience of speaking in Russian, that's not what my problem is. The problem is the words 100 and 1,000. So while I have my number system correct, the 2, the 5, the 1, it's the place that gets confusing. Why? That is my biggest question I've asked about myself and my clients. Why? Because this is a common experience I've seen across all levels of English. It has to be fundamental to how we are built. So here is some investigation to that answer. I call this feeling derailing, when the train falls off the train tracks. Because we were going so smoothly and then you hit something and then all of a sudden it's a disaster. So what is it? And I've been watching this with my clients for years, trying to find a commonality. So looking into neuroscience, I wanted to see the way that the brain processes numbers versus the way that the brain processes language. So what I found, numbers are processed in our minds in 3 ways. The first is representing numbers as symbols, just like the number 1. We have an association of that symbol with a concept. The second one, which I really like, is the visual representation of numbers. Think of it like a graph, like a bar graph. The size of the bar is related to the number, the quantity of how much stuff we're talking about. And the third way we think about numbers is in terms of words, like the word 25. This isn't just the symbol of a 2 and a 5, but the word 25. These are all actually very different ways that our brains process the concept of numbers. But where do we process these numbers? The language processing area does share some pathways with the way that we process numbers, but they do deviate, just like the train analogy. Our train is going one way when we're processing our language, but then we add a number to it and there's a hard shift to the left. Because of the way that our brains are structured, there really is no shortcut around this problem. So how do we avoid this derailment moment when we're speaking? We don't. That is honestly the best answer I can give you. The way that I do this for myself and the way that I coach my clients is to accept your biology as it is. Numbers are hard. So when I find myself speaking and I'm about to say a number, any number that is higher than 2 digits, honestly, I pause. I allow myself to slow down and to think of how I'm going to say these numbers. Russians a lot of times like to give numbers in 2 or 3 pairings at a time. I say, no, I can't process it. I'm going to say it one number at a time. It doesn't have anything to do with my ability to speak Russian, but being able to acknowledge that this is how my brain works allows me to communicate. It's better than saying 150,000 in place of 15,000. I don't think I need to explain all the ways that that could be disastrous if you're having a conversation about money. It's not a defect. It is the way that your brain and everyone's brain is wired. So much of what I do as a speaking coach is about accepting who we are and the way we are and working with reality as opposed to aiming for goals that are unattainable. If you're interested in seeing how this method works across more than just numbers, but all through the speaking experience, this is what I do with my program, Speak Your English, where your personality, your humor, and the tone that you want to create in your personality comes through in English. To learn more, come to my website, laurapickens.ru. The link is in the description, and I'll see you guys next week.